Good morning and welcome back to Doing It Live with Doomlink. We are here for the first time in about a month in The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and I have to confess that I did have a recording issue before, so basically I continued a small way through the game, probably about 10 minutes worth of gameplay going forward from where I left you in the previous part. And then I had a recording issue. Basically, I had already... there was no way for me to undo all of that, because I had already saved and had a number of autosaves before that point. Or after that point, I should say. So I've basically lost that footage and that content, but essentially what I did, as I recall, was I spoke to this lady. She was talking about how she... I think had seen a tornado or something like that, and so I just had to produce it for her, show her it, rather similarly to how I had to show this other lady over here the tumbleweed. And I received some reward, I just don't recall what it would have been. But anyway, not all that interesting, not all that extensive in terms of what I did. I think I adventured around, I suspect I went into the shop here, and discovered that I didn't really need anything. I mean, what is this? Gerudo sandals. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do remember these. As you can see, we can't afford Gerudo sandals at this stage, so yeah. As for the usefulness of them, you can imagine that it would be convenient to not be getting sucked into the quicksand, but also we must consider the possibility that these will be required to get through the game at some point. Whether or not we need these for the dungeon coming up, I'm actually not sure. I suspect there would be a very strong hint in the game telling us that we need to get these quicksand-proof sandals in order to progress, because it's just slightly obscure enough to have something really essential being sold in this store, to where it would be necessary, I think, to have a very strong hint to say that we need to do this. But anyway, my instincts tell me this is probably optional, but it doesn't mean we don't want the boots. Or the sandals, I should say. I said boot because it had a little boot icon there. Anyway, let's continue in the direction that I went. In the lost footage, we'll call it. It's very mysterious sounding, lost footage. The rifts in Gerudo Desert don't seem to be getting any smaller. No, that's concerning to hear. Do you need something? Outsiders aren't allowed to enter here. Well, as you can see, based on my trajectory, I'm simply a passerby. I don't know why you're even trying to accuse me of attempting to enter. But anyway, there's probably a few ways to get up here, and this is the direction that I went in. I thought, oh, I'll try and get into this building through the roof. Or from the roof, I should say. If I say through the roof, that implies something a little different. But I'm going to use the Gwai, because that's probably the more fun way to do it. Now let me just remember what I must do to make this work. Yeah, okay. So I think I summon it, target, and then... Yeah, okay. Let's try that again. You just have to be pretty quick with your targeting, that's all. Oops. No. Okay. I feel that I figured out a way to time this correctly. I just haven't been doing it. Maybe waiting like this is actually easier. The reason why I try to attach myself as quickly as possible to the Gwai is because he starts off at a sort of low altitude, you see, which makes it easier to reach. There you go. Again, I've got no idea why that worked, but eventually when you keep trying to do that, it does work. There must be a technique that will allow you to achieve success more consistently than this, but anyway. I'm just going to patiently wait until I'm dropped up here. I don't think I would have benefited in any way by dropping on the top there. Let's just continue over this way. I don't think we can get through this doorway. I think we're going to have to do our little Gwai trick again. Come on. What? I can pick you up? That's new information. There we are. And then R to follow. And release. In fact, I will remove you now. Whoops. Oh, I hold. Sorry, I'm just remembering the controls. It's been a month since I last played. I'm doing Ocarina of Time as well at the moment, in case you hadn't noticed. And I suppose I'm going to try and evenly split the time that I spend between the two games. I'll also mention, just as a sort of update for the channel, that I have more or less concluded that not many people want to watch me play Kingdoms of Amalur. So the result of me having uploaded, I think, somewhere within the region of 7 videos of Kingdoms of Amalur, was that the algorithm and potentially the audience became so dissatisfied that the last recording that I did of this game had like no one watching it, almost no one. Eventually, after a month, it got 14 views, but that's still half of what I would normally get in 24 hours for Echoes of Wisdom. So I think I'm going to put Kingdoms of Amalur to the side. I'm not going to cancel it, I'm going to test the theory that I just posited at some point in the future, and if I get the exact same result a second time, Kingdoms of Amalur can fuck off. If no one wants to watch it, then I am willing to sacrifice it as a part of the lineup. Strike it from the lineup. Because, you know, while I do record for myself, I don't like Kingdoms of Amalur enough to basically damage my own channel, so there you have it. Yeah, that was just a random update. Not random, I suppose, something that crossed my mind that I thought I would discuss. If we head down here, I believe this is where I went before. Yes, I think so. Now, pretty obvious that these are going to fall. It seems that while it is returning to the ceiling, or at least returning to its original position, it can't actually hit me, so that's good news. Okay, so coming up here is a puzzle that, interestingly, is a little easier than I think I first thought. So there's 2 ways to go about this, I suspect. You can either break just enough of these boxes to be able to make your way back up while controlling that boulder down there. See, that boulder is in our way, and quite obviously we're going to use Try's ability to grab onto it and then lift it onto the platform just over here. I really, at times, find myself frustrated by Zelda's very limited physical capabilities. Anyway, you can see that this rock can be lifted onto there, and then we can continue forward for a piece of heart. It seems that that's all we can do in here, actually. Entirely worth it for the piece of heart, I should mention, but yeah, I figured out that I don't have to necessarily limit the number of boxes that I break in order to get back up. I think I can actually just use the Strantula from the bottom. Initially I was struggling to do that, but yeah, I believe that I can actually just break all of this. What do you mean by kill the thwomp thingy? I actually don't know what that means. Kill the thwomp thingy? Anyway, what is the quickest way for me to break these boxes? Is it going to be dropping a rock? Perhaps even dropping a boulder, that would be better. Well, hold on, let me... No, stop it. I'm getting confused with my controls again. Stop it. Release. So ZR to release, and then... Yes, there we go, that's what I wanted to do. Holding ZR to cancel it all. So, boulder? No, not enough. So... How was I breaking these boxes last time? I think maybe Ignazol can burn them. No, he can't. We'll keep going through the things that we can summon and we'll figure it out. It is worth mentioning that because I haven't played very recently, I don't have a sort of, in the back of my mind, I do not have a full list of things that I can summon. I'm just sort of now, as I'm playing, refamiliarizing myself with what I have available. I guess I can just create a higher point. So let's just do that. This is probably not going to work either, is it? See, if I could remove just that trampoline specifically, that might be enough, but I don't think it's going to be enough. This is really annoying. I feel like see, last time I was recording, I immediately knew of a way to destroy these things, and now I just can't think of one. So bizarre. Hold on. Let me remove all of this again, and I'm trying to figure this out. It would be nice if I had some ability to explode these boxes, but I'm quite certain that I don't. The enemies to the left? Yeah, I guess I could do that. Weirdly, that's not what I used last time, but I guess that's an option as well. But how can I control you from here? I need to get to the other side of you. Alright, ZR to release, and then I'll get to this side. It's funny, I mean, yes, that is a solution, AJ, you're right, but I didn't do that last time, so... Yeah, my memories of what I did last time are actually so vague that I've got no idea how I did it, but I destroyed those without issue, literally without issue, so... How the fuck did I do it? It's really bizarre. Anyway, Strantula, I suppose. Oh, you're not happy with that. Alright. Up we go. No, sir, you must come over here. There we go. Pull you further across. Release. And I'm going to remove this trampoline because that's getting in our way. Nope. Move you across just a little bit more. There we go. Very good. Now we've got a sort of separate issue, and that is the fact that he is there. We don't want him to be there. So let's move him again. We're going to get him out of here. You have fulfilled your... Ow. That's a good sentence. You have fulfilled your purpose. Thank you for your assistance. How the hell I did it last time, I really don't know, but I'm almost certain I would have used a boulder, but, yeah, apparently I don't have the cognitive ability to create an elevated point sufficient to actually drop it a good distance. I don't know why that is, but that's alright. We're having a bit of a moment today. So, grab that. I think we can Strantula here, and then Strantula there. It's a weird sentence. But basically, if I stand from the bottom here, I just want to demonstrate something that's confusing, and this is why... So when I was playing originally, like before, when I was in this cave, this hadn't come to mind. Like, this idea hadn't come to mind. But if I drop a Strantula here, he can't actually reach the ceiling, but interestingly, he can extend himself all the way down from the ceiling. He just can't start from this low position. Do you see what I mean? So if I summon one here, and then summon a Strantula from this position, he can lower himself the whole way, which is fascinating to me. I don't understand why that is the case, to be clear. That doesn't make much sense to me, but I don't care. I'm not going to question it beyond this point. So let's go and climb up. And I think that should be good enough. Okay. Down we go. Piece of heart. I will mention that I'm currently playing without sound. Of course, you guys have sound. Oh, did I? No, I don't think I got a new heart container there. Nope. I have 2 out of 4 heart pieces. So yeah, I'm currently playing without sound. I suspect that if I were to just restart my Switch and download the current update, or rather install the current update. That would probably resolve itself, but I decided that while I was getting this recording set up that I was not prepared to do that, which is a bit weird, so now I'm just suffering the consequences of my own idiocy and playing without sound. So you guys technically have more details of what's going on than I do. Gotta love that excellent performance of the video game. There's constant frame drops, you see. So, what do we want to do now? My reasoning for coming here first, before continuing over here, was that we would fully explore the region. Or at least see what was going on before we took on the dungeon. What's my rupee count looking like? Because I am very tempted to just spend all of my rupees on those sandals that we saw in the shop. We could also potentially sell accessories that we don't use. Like, for example, heart appearance up. This heart pin is of no use to me because I can just heal whenever I want to. So, yeah, I really would rather sell that. Where is my rupee count? Am I... There it is, 389. We didn't really get any rupees going in that direction, so... Fine. It seems that all entrances are protected, by the way. Are you going to throw me out? You're not going to question the fact that I've managed to get on the roof? Okay. I'm fine with that. I don't need to get in right now. I suspect that I will be allowed in once I've cleared the dungeon. As for how to acquire more rupees... Oh, and also hello, A-Gaming. I think I said hello to you, but if I didn't, then I apologize. You have now been greeted. Oh. Are you sleeping with shades on indoors? Oh no, you're not. You've just got your veil there. I really misunderstood what I was looking at. Unless you had your veil over your eyes. Either way. Well, look at you, lovely little thing, aren't you? Lovely though you may be, you might want to build some muscle if you'll be here long. Why? Are you going to put me to work? Wake up, lady. Yeah, that is what she was doing, I'm pretty sure. Oh no. Do you know what it is? Her nose, this is really funny. If you look at it differently, look at her head. Imagine that her nose and the ridge of her nose is in fact her hair. And imagine that her eyes are her eyebrows. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? It looks like it's her hair and her eyebrows, and then she's got a visor or some kind of, like, stylish, trendy sort of sunglasses going on, covering her eyes. That's what it looked like. That was very confusing. Maybe if she didn't have such an extremely defined nose ridge, I wouldn't have become so confused. But anyway. It looks like duct tape. Well, very good. That as well, I guess. I guess we're just really culturally insensitive. Okay. So, we may be able to get more rupees as we go into this area. Of course, we're not going to be able to cross over this rift, but we can presumably go down here and across, and then back up. And then if we honestly have insufficient rupees to get sandals, then I will accept that we will not get the sandals before going to the next dungeon. I will give in. Now, I think I will continue up here. The trampoline for me is the most comfortable way to just scale small jumps, or to achieve small jumps. Scale small inclines, that's what I meant to say. Now, we're getting a good view of the area down there. Oh, for a second I thought that I was seeing there was in fact this, but do you see, that's a good perspective of just how little distance this map actually covers. Look, I'm standing here and staring at it. Look, that is not far at all. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Go away, please. No, remove pin. Just going along here in case there's something of interest. Here's the big rift. And apparently this cave is being guarded. I don't know why. Do you think there's something I can do with these guards? I wouldn't want to do anything untoward in the village itself, or the city, whatever they were calling it. What were they calling it again? I think it's got a name. Gerudo Town. So in the town, I wouldn't really want to do anything that might cause the guards to come to harm. But out here in the field, everyone's fair game. If it results in you being lost forever in the rift, or literally dying, I don't mind. The consequences are of no interest to me if I am ultimately able to reach whatever goal I have. So, let's go down. What do you have to say for yourself? You're not a Gerudo. Thanks for that. What do you want? Imagine if you just walked up to someone and they were like, you're not African. And I'd be like, oh, you don't say. Only those authorized by the Gerudo chief are allowed entry. To be clear, this is probably based on the Middle East, not Africa. I just thought of a random race. Now go on home. No. I would like to potentially remove you. No, apparently try does not work on people. Try has morals, apparently. Tornado? Get out of here. No, apparently 2 tornadoes are not enough to move you from this position. I am very disappointed to see this. Alright, understood. It seems that if I've got an NPC blocking a door, that's that. There's nothing I can do. I will accept that, but it doesn't mean that I'm pleased to discover this. What if I have a Deku Baba eat you? Deku Baba is not hungry. I reckon it could eat it, though. I reckon it could eat this guard. Alright. Let us circumnavigate the rift. Oh. You need to train your echoes to attack the innocents, yeah. See, they are my tools. They can't simply be ignoring my commands. It's not acceptable. My friends are nearby. Again, you don't say. We've established that your friends are in the rift. Oh, okay. I can create a rift entrance beneath here. Come on, Zelda. What? Oh. You can't come with me, can you? So what should we do? Well, I don't know, but this is apparently not my objective. I've got a little map marker to suggest where I should be going. We could try talking to her. Maybe she knows a way you can get through the sand. She told me to beat it. And I'm not referring to the Michael Jackson song. Get through the sand? No, you aren't getting past me. Only those authorized by our chief are allowed entry. Now go home. Come on, I attempted to speak to the chief. I tried to go in that big fancy building. I don't think she's going to move. Ah! What? For a second I thought that was Try doing that. I think I made this very clear in the first or second recording of Doing It Live with Doomlink in Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. The fact that they don't give you an indication on the screen as to who is speaking is very confusing, because if suddenly someone else is talking, you don't have an immediate indication of that. They don't have a name on the speech bubble or on the text box. There's no need for that information to be absent. I don't understand it. Now, if I had sound working, maybe I would have heard someone screaming and then that would have made it clear. But still, it is confusing when you don't tell me who's speaking. Okay, apparently a rift in the Gerudo Desert is... Okay, our objective has been updated from here to here. I was attempting to do things before reaching my objective, but now it has actually been updated. Oh, there she is. I think this is the very person we want to speak to. Is she okay? I don't know. We'll have to find out. What is this thing? Looks like some kind of dirigible airship. What is the best way to approach this? Like, for instance, are you going to be able to fight your shadow effectively? Here we go. Oh, no. That didn't look very effective. How about Ignazol? Can these shadow things burn? It seems that they can. Again, I'm a big fan of the Ignazol. Very much a supporter of its use. Liberal use, in fact. I might just throw a rock at you, just to make a point. Whoops. Yeah, take that. What happened? The monsters, they're gone? You've got an exceptionally large and sharp nose. I'm not even going to say pointy. I feel like that's not descriptive enough. You have a razor-sharp nose. Did you defeat them for me? It seems they posed no threat to you, and yet I, a seasoned warrior, couldn't handle them. Yeah, well, I was going to say that your humility was showing, sarcastically, but I guess this person is admitting that they were defeated, so there you go. Thank you, you saved my life. I suppose I should introduce myself. Oh, we've got an actual name on the text box, lovely. So this is not the chief, this is actually the captain of the Gerudo warriors. I got ahead of myself and thought that this was actually the person who has taken up residence in the town, in that large building. Not true. What's your name? Nice to meet you, Zelda. So, what brings you out this way? I see. You're traveling around fixing rifts. Uh-huh. You're fixing rifts? Pardon my shock. It's just that rifts have been causing us serious trouble lately. We heard that taking care of the monsters would also take care of the rifts, but it hasn't. Well, I don't know who you heard that from. The rifts haven't gotten any smaller, and the monsters keep coming. Without end, it seems. If we could rid ourselves of these cursed rifts, then nobody else would end up getting hurt. Hey Zelda, do you think she might know how to get you under the sand? Well, I guess so. If anyone knows about sand, it's the people who live in the sand. You want to burrow under the sand? You're crazy. Okay, apparently there's some underground building. Normally the entrance to the sanctum is where we're standing. But as you've probably noticed, it's flooded with sand now, so nobody can get inside. Well, I hadn't noticed, because I didn't know there was a building here until you mentioned it, so no, I hadn't noticed it, unless you're commenting upon my instantaneous recognition of what you're saying and the conclusion that... Anyway, if you want to get into the sanctum, we'd first need to clear out the entrance. Why is it blocked up? Okay, how can we clear it? A soldier is guarding the back entrance. If we go through there, we could clear the sand out. I see. So I don't need permission for the chief. I just need permission from Donna. Or Dona. Hello, Mad Duck. Understood. What? Oh, okay, so we do have to talk to the chief after all. Well, fortunately, we have a way to get into the building now. I suspect that this person will be allowed entrance. Alright, we're meeting up in the town. There's a lot of head nodding going on. She also has a massive sword. Her sword is the size of her body. Or at the very least is the same length as she... It is as long as she is tall. What are you? Are you a... You are a re-dead. Apparently the re-deads just wear masks now. They're not actually dead. Why? Am I misunderstanding this? Do you see very clearly he's wearing a mask? He's not actually a dead person. Okay. I'll just accept what I'm seeing, I guess. Probably the least frightening re-dead in existence. Okay, maybe this is not... Tornando, please desist. I really am not seeing any benefit in you being here right now. I regret all of what I just decided to do in summoning you to deal with this re-dead. How about the piranha? Yeah, get him, piranha. Oh, or not. That's it. My tried and true Ignazol. Get him, Ignazol. Come on. Don't be scared. Yeah. Get him. In fact, I can summon multiple Ignazols now, so I should just do that. Excuse me. These guys have a decent amount of health, and they don't seem to be particularly susceptible to fire either. So how about a Dark Nut? Do you think a Dark Nut would be scared of a Redead? I don't imagine so. He is! But as you can see, when the Redead attacks the Dark Knight, it just bounces off him, so... Oh great, they're bouncing off each other. This is ridiculous. Can we just appreciate the fact that this enemy just looks like a guy wearing a mask, and he's this strong? How about a Boomerang Bokoblin? Mad Duck commenting on the abnormally large nose of the captain of the guards thinks that we might be able to... What the fuck was that? That was extremely effective. Or at least it appeared to be very effective. Yeah, Mad Duck thinks we can use the captain's nose to burrow to the sanctum, which is a very unkind thing to say. You learned the Redead Echo. Okay, well, I'm assuming this will be very effective. Something else that's very effective is you. You are very effective with your level 2 boomerang. I'm going to lift you, because apparently that's an option. Goodbye. You've done well. Oh, that would have been very comedic. What? You think the Redeads wore masks in the N64 games? It was very obvious that they were, undead. Like, their bodies were sort of shriveled up, so... As for them wearing masks, no, I don't think that makes sense. Why would a dead body put a mask on? I don't think there's any other I guess it's up for interpretation, because when we're looking at Nintendo 64 graphics, it's all quite primitive, but... Yeah, the scary masks looks the same as their faces, you're right about that, but to say that the Redeads from, say, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were themselves wearing masks, I don't know if I agree with that. They did have sort of weird-shaped heads, and I don't think they were wearing masks. At the very least, this mask that you describe was not distinct from the rest of their bodies, in quite the way that these Redeads had a very clear mask that was different to the rest of the body. How do I... A person named Trump Won Election 2020, which is not a political name whatsoever, not even remotely political, asks me, how do you rate this game? I'm enjoying it so far. I wouldn't really rate a game this early on, or this short amount of distance into the full game. So far, it's very fun. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I am, but I am, and that's very good news. The captain is not with me. Has she relayed the information to you? So that cry earlier was Captain Donor. I don't know if I should say Donor or Donor. I'm going to say Donor, at risk of sounding like I'm saying the word donut. But anyway. No, the game is not hard. This is not a difficult game. It does call upon a certain level of creativity in order to solve puzzles, but I wouldn't say that it's any more complicated or... what's the word? That's weird, I had a word ready to use there. Anyway, it's not harder than playing a regular Zelda game, in my opinion. No, you're supposed to let me in! You're supposed to let me... Am I going crazy? I just had a conversation with the captain, and she said that this entrance being guarded by this person is the place that's going to take me down to the sanctum that is currently buried. And you're not letting me in. No. That's not how this works. Unless I've completely misunderstood the conversation that I... Oh no, sorry, yep. No, that is actually my fault. I need to go back to the town and speak with the chief with Donor. Okay. I forgot about that. Here we go, we've got a warp point. Oh, you're actually an enemy. I thought you were the one that I summoned before. That wouldn't have made sense. Is this hard compared to the original 2D Zeldas? Absolutely not. It depends on what you're talking about. So, for example, the original Link's Awakening, pretty difficult. Zelda 2, pretty difficult. So, yeah, if you were comparing this to A Link to the Past, probably about the same level of difficulty. But yeah, it's not like all of the 2D Zeldas were of equal difficulty, or that they were basically the same experience, regardless of the game. They all sort of differ. How I refer to it is, you know, the couch gaming experience, a sort of laid back, sit back, be entertained, make your way through the game. A Link to the Past was very much like that. Games like Link's Awakening, you really had to sort of buckle down and pay attention to what's going on. And Zelda 2, well, I wouldn't even call that buckling down, probably more like clenching your sphincter. And when you're not doing that, you're probably just tearing your hair out. But look, mate, if A Link to the Past was difficult for you, maybe don't play Echoes of Wisdom. That's just a... Well, you're welcome to play Echoes of Wisdom, but don't expect it to be an easy ride, I guess. Because A Link to the Past really is not complicated stuff, by Zelda standards. It's one of the simpler and easier games to play. This is some solid training, guys. Why do you have just a patch of sand here? I guess it's familiar ground to be standing on. Like, for example, if they're in combat, they're probably more likely to be fighting on sand than anywhere else, so I guess it makes sense to train on the sand as well. Let me just see how long I've been recording for this part. Alright, we'll just go through this dialogue, and then I'll not end the live stream, but create the next VOD part. In other words, do an outro and an intro. Chief Sira, I have a report concerning the blocked up entrance to the sanctum. As predicted, the number of monsters is dwindling. Yeah. There's some serious nodding going on from the chief. Ah, Zelda, I've been waiting for you. Do you see the size of this sword that this person's using? I mean, if you relate it to the size of the person themselves, this isn't like a scimitar. This thing is a fucking greatsword. Chief, this is the Hylian I was telling you about. With her help, we may be able to get rid of the giant rift here in our desert. But in order to do that, she'll need to get into the sanctum. Did we give this captain any reason to believe that we were capable of clearing these rifts? I think we just basically said, yeah, we're trying to do that. And she got really excited. She was shocked that we were embarking on this quest and just completely believed that we were capable of this. That's what it seems was going on in that conversation. If she can get rid of the rift as she claims, it's just a claim. I have not actually provided any evidence whatsoever that I'm capable of doing this. I believe that Tri cannot be seen by other people as well, so this is a little bit unusual that a captain of the guards would just take me at face value in this way, but fine. We'll finally be done with this long battle. Also, how does she not know that I'm the princess? I have not given this lady any sort of fake identity. Like, I haven't given her an alias. I've just called myself Zelda. Even with this hood on, you can probably tell that I'm a blonde female. How does this person not know who Princess Zelda is? This is a very small kingdom. It took me maybe 5 minutes to get over here from the Hyrule Castle precinct, or you know, whatever you want to call it. And this is unbelievable. I mean, how does she not know who I am? Maybe she does know who I am, but I thought I was in hiding. Maybe I'm not following the dialogue closely enough, but I don't know. We should be acting with urgency, and Zelda can help. Wait, I think Facette just said that we don't, or rather that they don't know where I come from. What? You're the chief's daughter. I'm shocked by your severe lack of judgment. I'm shocked that none of you know who I am. Is the princess of your neighboring kingdom not known to you? I don't know. Gerudo live in super isolation, but they don't. I was able to enter the town without issues. I just walked in and everyone was reasonably friendly. I mean, yeah, I was immediately called out for not being a Gerudo, or at least I was by that guard before. so they must not see foreigners very often. But what the hell? How do they not know who I am, even though I'm not even attempting to hide my identity? This is extremely unusual. Peace, Facette. You're insulting my child. It's very diplomatic of you, Chief. You've got, presumably your advisor basically insulting your daughter, and you're like, peace. What do you mean, peace? You should be whacking this person across the head with your trident. Why do you have a trident? Pardon my words, Chief Seera, but I understand the concern you feel for the warriors. I feel each injury to our warriors as though it was my own. That said, have you seen this Hylian eradicate a rift? You have only just met this stranger yourself. How can you tell us to trust her? Chief Seera, it seems further discussion is unnecessary. Now is not the time to be entertaining strangers and their claims. Well, I wasn't expecting them to inject some realism into this interaction, but it seems that they are. It seems that everything I was mentioning has been recognized by the chief and the advisor. I will prove what Zelda says is true. You'll be wasting your time. This Hylian is clearly deceiving you. She saved my life. How dare you speak of her like that? Well, between the two of you, only one of you is armed, so I can see where this is going to head. I trust Zelda, and I will prove that she can get rid of rifts. Okay. I'm really hoping that Dona is like 10, because she's acting like she's 10. No matter how many monsters they fight, the rift isn't going to go away on its own. Dona is correct about this, so why won't they trust us? The Tri apparently does not understand the logical conclusion. Do you know what? Maybe Tri just doesn't realize that humans are deceptive people. Doesn't understand why we don't just trust one another at face value like that. Outlandish claims should just be accepted as fact. A Link to the Past is not hard compared with the 3D Zeldas. I can accept that maybe it was different to what you were used to. Like, for example, if you don't really play top-down 2D games, and you go into A Link to the Past, maybe the adjustment from a 3D game to that would cause you to experience difficulty, but as a game, no. It's A Link to the Past is extremely simple, extremely easy. There's very little that will challenge you in A Link to the Past. Like, even the Minish Cap. If you play the Minish Cap after playing A Link to the Past, you're not... you will notice a difficulty difference. A very stark difficulty difference. And to explain what I mean by difficulty, I don't necessarily mean you're going to be dying the whole time. I mean, how do you keep track of how to progress through the game? What is it like to clear dungeons without a guide? Things like that. Games like Link's Awakening and the Minish Cap, you're going to get a bit confused at times. And I have to tell you that A Link to the Past is extremely straightforward. But that's just me. I don't mean to, I guess, dismiss the difficulties you're having, but again, if you found A Link to the Past to be difficult, I would say that this is going to be a difficult game for you. You there, Hylian. Captain Dona left a message for you on her way out. She mentioned that she's heading to the Oasis, and she'd like you to join her there. To get to the Oasis... What? Are you telling me how to get there? It's on my map! I mean, it's kind of you to be so accommodating, but it's about as... Whoa. Oh. Apparently if I press select, I get a different kind of map to the usual one. If I press start and then end up... Wait, what? No, that's not what's going on. They just zoomed out of my map automatically for some reason. I don't understand why. Anyway, yeah, the Oasis is very, very much marked on my map, and even if it were not very clearly there, I have a marker telling me where to go. I mean, I guess in terms of knowing what to do next, this is about as clear as it gets for a Zelda game. I make mention of that because I was just talking about how, you know, an element of difficulty in a Zelda game would be knowing where to go next. That is non-existent here. You will never not know where to go next. Could not be clearer. Alright, what I'll do is I will warp to here, and then I will do an outro and intro for the next part of Doing It Live with Doomlink. Mad Duck, you are very correct in what you just said, and I'm not going to respond to you. Anyway, so that is all for this recording. I hope you all enjoyed that. I can't remember what part this is. I think this is part 12. Or, no, I think this is part 11. I'm not going to be drawn on what part it is or what part it isn't, because I am notoriously ineffective at keeping track of that. Again, for those watching live, I will be continuing the live stream, but for those watching on YouTube, that is it for this VOD. I will see you in the next part, and hope you enjoyed this one. Bye-bye for now.